describing what we do here, we call it puzzle piece storytelling. It's a very powerful framework that, of course, is you're going to see us develop and figure out the best way to communicate it. But basically, it's a reverse engineering style of storytelling. I mean, I've just gotten so much pushback on it over the years and people telling me that's not how you're supposed to do things. Basically, I'm good at pattern recognition. So what started to happen over time is I would recognize patterns in these stories, and then it made me a lot faster because I was very good at isolating what I needed to use like my brain power on. So I was only isolating it to right now I'm focusing on the bites, right now I'm focusing on the images, just the B-roll, just the music, just this and that, and still have a sense of what the whole was going to look like. I think a lot of people can already see why some people might find it problematic because they're romantic about telling stories. So for example, and I'd love for people to let me know how they feel about this in the comments, like when I work on a documentary, a nonfiction piece, I do not look at all the footage before I start editing, which for a lot of people is like blasphemy. But obviously it also works. A lot of people also give me pushback on telling stories that I don't have a personal connection to, or I'm not a part of that community. I think this is a big conversation in general. And I'm a big believer that if you're a great storyteller, if you're a great craftsman, then you can tell any story. It just might be harder for you than somebody who already has a background in that area, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't make just as good of a film. There are obviously filmmakers who are eclectic. Like a lot of people now have been able to break out of that and tell different kinds of stories. Spielberg is another one who has kind of almost touched every genre, including animated films and stuff. My two most successful narrative films is an LGBT film and a film about a Mexican trans woman in New York. Both incredibly indie, incredibly slice of life, like the most artsy of the kind of movies. Went to Sundance, Concussion went to Sundance in 2013, played at the Angelica. This is the dream of anybody going to indie film, and especially if you're in New York, is to play at the Angelica. And then in 2019, I had an Audience Award winner at South by. So it's like, clearly it also works.